My name is Bobby and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag. Say that 10 times fast. As I am brand new to Booktube and this is my first video, I thought this tag would be a good way to start off and introduce myself. Question 1. Why did you start this channel? I started this channel to talk about books. Why else would you start a Booktube channel? I watch a lot of other booktubers, and as watching them, when they talk about a book that I really enjoyed or a book that I really loved or had a lot of thoughts on, when I just would scream at my screen like, oh, I thought that too, or whatever, and just commenting in the comments wasn't enough for me. Just being able to talk about it myself and get my thoughts out, I feel would be really cathartic and would actually help get over my anxiety of making eye contact and just engaging with other people that I may not know, because anxiety is real, and I thought putting myself out there is probably one of the best ways to combat it. Question 2, what are some fun and unique things you could bring to Booktube? I don't know if I could bring anything necessarily fun and unique. I am a creative person, but not when it comes to stuff like this. Maybe I will as I get further along in my channel, but right now it's more just I want to get involved. Like, I want to join the community. I've heard so many good things about the community. I myself have interacted with a lot of other booktubers who have been so kind and welcoming and helpful. So for that, like, I don't think I bring anything fun and unique, but I think my kind of weird, awkward personality, swear like a sailor, you know, kind of, I think that would be my fun thing that I could bring, is just my personality. Question 3, what are you most excited for this new channel? I'm excited to talk about books. I'm excited to interact with other booktubers. I'm excited to make new friends. All of that fun, like, community, I'm so excited to get into. I don't have a lot of friends that read, and like my best friend reads a lot, but the girl can't even remember the title of the book she read the next day when I ask her. She'll read a book and be like, and tell me that it was good. I'm like, oh, what's it called? Oh, I don't know. The cover kind of has green on it. Girl, like, I have no idea what that book is. So with stuff like that, being able to talk to other people who like the same things that I do and to get good recommendations and stuff like that, that's what I'm excited for, is the community and getting to know everybody. Question 4, why do you love reading? I love reading because it's an escape. I mean, pure and simple. Growing up, like, I've been reading for so long that as a kid, like, if I just had a bad day or whatever, I'd pick up a book and get lost in somebody else's world and with somebody else's problems that were usually tied up at the end with a pretty little bow. I love reading just because you learn a lot. Your vocabulary expands a lot. I mean, there's so many reasons why I love reading, but to me, it's just very relaxing and calming. And like, when you're at work and it's been a long day and you just can't wait to get home to get back into that really good book you're reading, that's why I love reading. Question 5, what book or book series got you into reading? Oh, I don't really remember. I've been reading since I was like 3 years old. When I was 5 and in kindergarten, I was up 2 classes ahead because I was reading so much and so advanced in my reading, because all I would do is read. I was a very shy child, so I would prefer to sit there with my nose in a book instead of interacting with my peers. I still struggle with that as an adult because, you know, interacting with people is a scary thing. But when I was younger, I read all the Nancy Drew series. I read all the Garfield comic bind-ups, which I guess now would be considered a graphic novel. I read all of the Tintin graphic novel bind-ups, which, or they were just single issues then, which my lovely husband actually bought me the box set of the, like, hardcover bind-up off of Amazon because I had to have it in my life. And I loved scary stories. When I was a kid, excuse you, Thunder, get down. I read all scary stories. Like, I went through our entire school library and my city library and read every single scary story anthology I could get my hands on. Scary Stories Tell in the Dark, just ghost stories, like, there was a ton. I read all the Goosebumps. Anything scary, I read. So when I was about 7 or 8, I pretty much ran out of things to read that were scary and, you know, that I mean, I loved horror and mystery, so my mom, bless her heart, she's she was like, well, I'll get you something to read. And when I was 8.5, 9 years old, my mom handed me a copy of Pet Sematary by Stephen King. And after that, I was done for. So she kind of helped feed that, but that got me really into my love of horror and scary. Like, it just totally propelled that in that direction. 6, what questions would you ask your favorite booktuber? I'm not quite sure. Like, I have so many favorite booktubers. But Vicki from chapter 32 actually pushed me to start my own channel. I had said something to her multiple times that I would love to do my own channel, but I was nervous, like, you know, filming and then having to edit and listen to the sound of your own voice and kind of going, ugh. But Vicki was very, very helpful in helping push me into making my own channel. And so I've asked her a lot of questions, like, what do you use to film? Do you use natural light? Like, you know, what program do you use to edit? Like, is it very difficult? Because when it comes to, you know, cameras and like editing videos, like I'm not stellar. I've never done it before. So she was very helpful. Leanne from Literary Diversions was also very helpful and encouraging. Question 7, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? For me, it's definitely going to be the editing. I've never done that before. The filming is fine because I'm literally just talking to myself and talking about some of my favorite things, so that's okay. But the editing, I've never done it before, so getting into a program and being able to do it and knowing where to cut it right, and hopefully I'll be able to figure out how to add like screenshots of different books, like covers, because I read from the library a lot. I read a lot of ebooks, so I want to be able to show the cover, like, you know, here of what I read if I'm doing a wrap-up or whatever. So that's going to be a challenge, is learning how to do that and getting that fluid. So I'm sure my videos would be pretty rough to start until I get the hang of things. Question 8, when did you start reading? I kind of already answered this question. I started reading when I was 3 years old and I haven't stopped since. Question 9 is, where did you read? Or where do you read? Words. Mostly in my bed. I live in a tiny apartment, so, and I have a husband and 2 kids, so there isn't really much quiet space to read, so my bedroom is pretty much my quiet space to read. I also, because of living in a tiny apartment, this is my only bookshelf. My tiny ineffectual bookshelf is what I call it. I have stacks of books in my closet. I have books and boxes in our storage unit. I also have lots of books out at my dad's house on a shelf out there. I have some loaned out to other people. So this by no means is all the books I own. I own tons of them. I also have tons on my Kindle and stuff like that. So, you know, my room is kind of it. My room is where I'm going to be filming, which is where I'm at now. And then my bed is where I read. Question 10, what kind of books do you like to read? Does it have pages and words? I'll probably read it. I love to read horror, mystery thriller. Those were probably like my favorites, though I struggle to find really good horror authors that aren't cheesy and seem like you are watching an old horror movie. So those 2 are my top favorites. I like some sci-fi, but not very much. I'm not very good on the sci-fi. I tend to get really lost and really bored. Let's see, but horror, mystery, and thriller tend to be my favorites. I do read some fantasy. It just depends. I'm not very good with high fantasy because I tend to get really bored and it goes right over my head. And I am a strict DNFer. Like, if you don't catch me within 100 pages or so, I'm going to DNF. Like, I may skip to the end to see how it ends, but if you're not engaging me and keeping me wanting to read all the way through, it's just not going to happen. I'm not going to waste my time on something when there's so many other good books out there I could be reading, and I have stacks and stacks of books that I could start. But I do read some fantasy, like some adult fantasy that's not super high fantasy I like really dark fantasy, like Nevernight by Jay Kristoff or The Savior's Champion by Jenna Moreci. Like, amazing books. Like, I'll read that kind of fantasy. I will read some YA fantasy. It just depends. Like, I do not like Cassandra Clare or Sarah J. Maas, like, where it's all, like, really tropey, and, like, I won't do that. Some I will. Like, I'll give it a shot, but it just depends on the book. Like, some I will, but I'm not really that big into YA fantasy. It just really depends on the book and the story, and if it's something I'm really going to enjoy. I do not really read contemporary. It's just really not my thing. I'm not really big on the tropes, and there's a lot of tropes in contemporary, and I tend to get bored. I do like some contemporary, like, I really like Southern Gothic contemporary, or contemporaries that are really full of drama, like Southern Gothic family drama. Contemporary is usually a no-go for me. if you can give me suggestions on ones that you think I'd probably like, then okay. But most of the contemporary that I've read was when I was in my early 20s, and it was like chick lit contemporary, which they're all pretty much formulaic and the same. I'm not a big fan of YA contemporary. I just can't. So you won't see a lot of that on my channel. But I do tend to try to give everything a chance once. Like, if it comes very highly recommended, I'll give it a shot. Like Nevernight. I never thought I would ever read that book, because it was just like, okay, it's YA, blah, blah. That's wrong. It's not YA. It's 100% adult. And, you know, once I got into it, I absolutely loved it. So, but it came so highly recommended and was kind of hyped. And that's another thing. I don't tend to read that many hyped up books. Some, if the premise sounds really good, I will. But otherwise, probably not, because I'll wait until the hype dies down and then check Goodreads reviews and see how good it really was. Like, and I won't just really buy into the hype. Unless it's a series that I've already read and I'm waiting for the next one, like, you know, how Harry Potter was or whatever. Okay, that's it. That is the Booktube Newbie Tag. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you'll subscribe. There should be more coming soon, and I will see you later. Bye.